G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here, and welcome back to another slot car review. And it is Revo's turn with the incredible Ferrari F40, which is hiding inside this box. So a massive thank you to Revo Slot and of course BRM, who are the sister company, for their continued support. They did send this to me for an honest review, and a huge thank you to Andrew Lehman, who is our Australian distributor who gets these to me. So thank you very much for both your support. And I do have a special YouTuber guest. Yes, I reached out to a YouTuber to say, hey, how would you set one of these up? So stick around and find out who that is, and also find out how amazing this Ferrari F40 is by Revo Slot. So welcome back to the slot car review, and I have gone Revo Slot again because I absolutely love their product, and I did do a review on the Revo Slot Toyota Supra, so please check that out, and I will link that description in my video. But of course, Revo Slot is in partnership with BRM, so there's some BRM internals going on in here, so you will expect a very good car. So thank you to Revo Slot and BRM for their continued support, and Andrew Lehman, who in Australia gets these to me, so thank you, mate. But I cannot wait to unbox it. So let's have a quick tour around the box. If you are not a Revo Slot customer, you will notice that it is very similar or almost the same to a BRM box, and I just said they are in partnership. But I do like these boxes. They are a shoebox style, so it's closed. Got the big RS and the dead giveaway that it's a Revo or a BRM car. In the corner they normally have the car make and the livery, but all the time they have the livery, which I think that looks pretty cool. The car we're talking about is a Ferrari F40. I think it was from a 1996 race, and I'm probably going to butcher the name of that livery, which I probably will get it wrong, so I'm waiting for the comments on that one. So let's get stuck into the unboxing, and of course once we get to the chassis, I will introduce a very good friend of mine who's on YouTube, and he knows his stuff, so I cannot wait to introduce him on this video. So let's move into the unboxing, and then let's check out the chassis on this puppy. So what do you get when you purchase a Ferrari F40 from Revo Slot? Well, let's dive right into it and have a look at what you get when you purchase it. And I do like these boxes. They are very good quality boxes, very strong and sturdy, and you can sit the car on top to display it. So it's got a secondary use. Straight away, I'll flip it up and have a look. That's how you receive it. This nice big car cover. It's a big plastic car cover, and of course, the car is screwed onto the base, which I have removed for ease of reviewing. And we'll take that out now and have a quick look. Take a look at that. Oh. It's such a good looking slot car. There is your base, of course it's screwed down, nice and easy. Now what do you get in the box? Well, this is very important. I like how it gives you options. In that baggie is a double-sided taped magnet, so you can run in magnet class, or if you don't run magnets, you don't put it on at all. I think that's a great option. And of course, a second guide, very cool. We do have a second set of side mirrors, because you probably will lose these when you're racing, so it's up to you if you want to fit a second set. And of course we've got some, looks like Ferrari decal or similar to finish the car off. Some badging. We've got two stickers. I'm a huge sticker fan, and these are actually quite a good quality sticker. Now of course put them on your pit box, or if you want to make a diorama sign out of them for your track, really cool. I love stickers. But I think the most important thing, other than the magnet, because if you want to decide you want to run two different classes, is this little document. BRM do it, of course, it's a partnership brand. This is very important. It's got your car and your livery on the front. On the inside is just showing you the layout of the chassis that you have purchased. Parts and pieces are itemized, so if you want to replace or you want to understand what's on it, there it is right there. And I do refer to this when I'm doing a review because it's very well done. And on the back is another bit of a shopping guide list and some parts and pieces if you wish to purchase and or replace. And I think that's really good. Every company should be giving you some kind of options list or parts and pieces list so you can work on your own car. And here it is. I love yellow and blue, and I think this looks incredible. And I'm probably going to butcher the main sponsor's name, which I think is Igol. Let me know in the descriptions because I know I'll get it wrong. But let's start on the passenger side because we have got a lot to look at. And one of the main things I think they've executed perfectly on this car, and take note other slot car manufacturers, is the rims. It has a dished rim on the rear, which I think is necessary for a car like this, and of course the race car would have had that. And it's also got a slight dish on the front. Now I know some manufacturers like to just pump out the rims and do a flat rim base. If the car's got deep dish, put them on it. I think that's really well done. We'll stay on the passenger side because it is very similar to the driver's side. The iconic F40 scoop down the side is very well done. Looks incredible, and of course this two-tone yellow and blue looks good. Let's move into the front. Inset lights looks good. They're not active lights on this car. There's no lights on this car at all. Of course, if you want to try and put them on, go for it. But I do love how they are inset into the front of the car, like the race car. Beautiful big splitter on the front. It's got a bit of length to it actually. I'll see if I can get a good shot of that. Nice big black splitter on the front. Flip it upside down. The air scoop going through to some cooling items in there. Of course, it's a rear engine car, but this might be sending some fresh air through some radiators or similar. I like how they've executed that. Very, very nicely done. Let's move along to the driver's side, which is identical to the passenger side, but what I do like is on each window on either side I've got this print of the slide opening style window, which obviously doesn't function, but it looks like it would. Really cool. The internal, let's have a look inside the actual interior, or if we can, it's very, very tight in there. It is a flooded cockpit, meaning the driver is flooded up to his arms or under his arms, so it's a flooded cockpit, but they have not skimped on detail. They've put some really good detail in this cockpit. We've got two fire extinguishers where my finger's pointing, and if we move around to the rear, this beautiful engine bay compartment with these cutouts, which is very well executed, has got a nicely painted top of the engine, which is cool. Well, you can see two intercoolers on top of that motor, being a turbo car. So although it's a flooded cockpit with not much room, they've squeezed in this engine compartment. So let's have a closer look at that, because it definitely deserves it. And look at the detail, nicely painted, nicely finished. Beautiful, really, really well done. So while we're talking about the rear, let's look at this massive rear spoiler. Absolutely love it. It's got a bit of height to it. It looks aggressive. It's very well done. And then the rear of this car looks incredible. Look at those rear diffusers. I think they've done a really good job of replicating that. And of course, above the rear diffuser, we do have the 3 exhaust pipes. But a really good touch is that eagle or whatever you want to say, that's written on that rear mesh section. Awesome looking slot car. And then another quick detail I just found is these little cutouts just where my fingers are, which I think, again, they've gone the extra mile, and I'm gonna keep looking at this, and there's cutouts everywhere. A little grill on the back here. They've just gone crazy with cutouts to replicate the real car. So very, very well done, and I think if you have purchased a Revo Slot before, you know you're getting quality. So let's dive into the teardown, because I do want to introduce my special guest to talk about the chassis and how he sets them up. But let's get stuck in the teardown, have a quick look at it, then I'll throw over to my special guest. So I've completed the teardown, and all it took was 4 screws. Very simple to do, and I will show you the location on the inside of this shell because it is quite unique. There are some rubber stoppers here where the screws will go into, which comes through the chassis itself, and that may take out some of the vibration and body roll, so I think it's quite unique. And of course, inside here there is no active lights, but plenty of room, but a well executed shell, and I think they do a very good job. Let's move on to the business end, and here we have it, the 2-piece aluminium chassis. It's a floating section which is fully adjustable, but let's flip it upside down and let's start from the front. And we've got a shallow guide that's fitted to the car from the box, and of course you do have a secondary guide that comes with the box, and there is a little bit of play in this guide, and you can adjust that play by screwing in this little Allen key screw head. So if you want it as a solid guide or you want it more floaty, depending on what kind of track you are running. Let's follow these wires down to our angle winder motor, which is an RS211. It's a 21,000 RPM motor, and of course it's in the angle winder position, and it's married to a 12-tooth pinion and a 33-tooth spur gear, and of course of very good quality. Around to the rear, of course, we're aluminium hubs, and we've got anodized gold all over the place. And as it sits now, we do not have any magnets, but of course you do get a double-sided taped magnet you can place on this car. So there you have it. There is a quick look at the chassis. But who is my special guest? Well, you may or may not have seen his channel. I highly recommend it. And it is James from CLEAVE TECH. He did do a review on a Porsche Revo Slot recently, and he showed some tips and tricks on how to get this chassis a little bit better, and maybe just out of the box how you can clean it up a bit. So James, mate, I appreciate your support and jumping on the video, but what are your tips for the viewers about how to set maybe one of these chassis up?
Hi Travis, thanks for inviting me onto your show. Just like to say greetings from the other side of the world, and what a fantastic job you're doing on your videos. Amazed at how many slot cars you've actually got. You've definitely got a lot more slot cars than I've got, all fancy looking ones as well, and pretty envious of your big track you've got in your man cave as well. So awesome job. So to answer your question, well, yeah, I've just recently bought a Revo Slot myself, and I've taken it racing. It's first sort of, I suppose, second sort of venture into model car racing for me. I've done a little bit at this Rockingham Slot Car Club before, and used to do it a bit as a kid as well. In fact, I started off racing scale electric cars as a kid at a local recreation centre. But I bought this Revo Slot recently and decided, well, I better try and build it up properly to have a race at Pendle Slot Car Club, and try and build it up as well as I can within the pretty standard rules. So I haven't done a lot to it, I've just tried to make everything right. And if you've seen my recent videos, then you can see that I basically go about trying to make sure everything is nice and flat. So I strip the whole car down, put it on a nice flat plate, and then I bend the aluminium chassis to make sure both bits are totally flat before I reassemble it again, and making sure everything is flat and straight. Making sure everything moves nicely, so you don't get things that jam up. So as the chassis wobbles, it doesn't sort of like bind up on the screw posts and things like that. So simple things like that you can do. Making the tyres round, making them smaller, reducing ground clearance. All of those things make the car so much better and handle so much better. Well, I've taken it racing as well, and I've learnt a couple of things when I was racing. Actually, the cars handle really well. I would thought originally that they would come to a corner and they'd just sort of grip up and they'd fall over. But they don't do that. They actually go around a corner very well and can actually progressively slide as well. They don't just suddenly leap off the track. They're actually really nice cars. So I think I'm going to make a few tweaks to my setup videos, and I'll release another video soon, and you can see how I'm modifying my setup to improve my speed and hopefully do even better next time I race. So once again, thank you for asking. And if you haven't seen them already, have a look at my setup videos where I do explain a lot of those tips in more detail. But once again, thanks for inviting me. Enjoy your Revo Slot cars. They're actually really great chassis, and have fun racing them. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll speak again soon. Bye.
So there you have it, some tips and tricks from a legend of our hobby. Thank you very much, James from CLEAVE Tech. Now, if you're not supporting his channel, please jump over there, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and watch his videos, because his stuff's incredible and his knowledge is so good. And I tell you what, you'll be applying some of his stuff to your racing, and hopefully it'll be making it better. So thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. And yes, we will be working together in the future, because he's an absolute legend and he knows his stuff. And I can see some live streams coming out very, very soon. So thank you, mate. But it is time now to put the car back together and do 5 hot laps around my track to see how quick I can go. Yes, we'll be running no magnet, and I'm very curious to see how it goes, but unfortunately I cannot compare it to the Supra because we are running a different track. But let's stick it together, hit the laps, and see how fast we can go.
On 30.07 seconds. Lap 2, 12.93 seconds. Lap 3, 13.07 seconds.
So how do Revo Slot's Ferrari F40 perform around my track? 5 clean laps with no magnet. Well, I did a 12.75, which I think is pretty good because, of course, I've taken this car straight from the base, cleaned the tyres, cleaned the track, and off she went with no adjustments. And I think that's very good. But that wasn't the quickest time I got. I did do a 12.65, but due to my rules, it wasn't part of 5 clean laps. 12.75 is the official fastest time. Do I recommend Revo Slot? Of course I do. Very good for beginners because as you get better, you can adjust the chassis. Very good for professionals or racers alike because it is ready to be adjusted. I think you get your money's worth. You get a very good bit of documentation in here, you get parts and pieces, and it's presented well. So I think Revo Slot have done a very good job. So thank you to Revo Slot for sending this to me for an honest review. And of course, they are a partner company of BRM. So if you do like BRM, you want a 132 version, here it is. If you do like Revo Slot and you want a 124 version, we'll go to BRM. Really, really good companies, and I think they are doing great stuff. So thank you guys for your support, and Andrew Lehman for sending it to me. And a massive thank you to James from CLEAVE TECH, because he did jump on this video and give some tips and hints, and I do appreciate it. And please support his channel. He knows his stuff. He's very, very good. And yes, we'll be doing some stuff in the future together. But as always, at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram, I appreciate everyone's support. Take care. Be safe. Ciao.